Cool.
Music and back to it too.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna have to rock out.
Sing it a little first. Maybe we should get closer. No, I'm closer. It's cool.
Cool. So this is the interview with Bryce after Soul Society and Book of Styles. So we're kicking it at Scion Restaurant right now. A lot of good beer here, good food. We're just chilling. He's leaving in a little while, but the whole week was full of events, and we're just gonna talk a little bit about Bryce, let him introduce himself and talk about where he's from and his crew, and yeah, get into some questions and things about the event. So,
Alright. Well, my name is Bryce Hill, also known as Playboy Stix from Playboys Incorporated. I'm from technically Santa Clara, California, which is borders San Jose. And San Jose is a city where my crew's style kind of originated from, the flavor. So I more associate with San Jose as far as the dance. But yeah, I started dancing in 2002, popping and boogaloo and all that. Came out here first for Soul Society 2011.
2011, yep.
Had a great time, great people. I had met Rashad and Future before that, but really got to meet the whole community, urban artistry, everybody. And it was just a great event, and that's what made me want to come back again. So.
Yeah, that was a good year. That was the year you battled Hojin.
Yep.
Yeah, some good battles that year.
Yeah.
Rico was there, Daniel.
Memphis Jukers.
Yeah. What so like for your crew, like Playboys, I guess, like what is it that kind of separates you guys or makes your style unique compared to like other people around the world or even like within the Bay? Like what is it that you guys like kind of strive for, I guess, as a crew and dancers?
As a crew, what really drew me to this crew was not only the history. You know, it was a crew that started in '81 and had Money B did a really good job of keeping it going throughout all the years. So it has there's a lot of heritage and history there, but also the fact that they continue to push. Like when I would get down with these guys, they were always talking about, hey, check out this new like tide to get made up, or like this wave, or like, oh, that's dope, you should do that. You know, very encouraging about the creativity, and always doing something new and different. You know, keeping it exciting, and that's something that I've always been interested in. So it was very empowering for me, like very motivating for me. And I do the same for them. Like I like telling them, oh, I like that, you should do that, and this and that. So that's something my crew's always been about. And not only that, with, you know, we represent a lot of the San Jose flavor, which is really dope. We got guys that really maintain that, like Money B and Maze and Germs, and some other guys that really, you look at them and it looks a lot like the old school flavor. Yeah. But they encourage all kinds of styles and different uniqueness, and all the people that Money B has brought into the crew, I think, kind of gives us a totally different feel now. Yeah,
for sure. I think that's like something that connected us like off the bat, was that whole thing of like we were also people like in Assassins, and like Rashad and myself specifically in the popping community, like people doing something a bit less trendy and less popular, and like being okay with that, you know, and that whole thing, like you said, like being creative and just being like, oh, that's dope, like I want to try that, like try something crazy like that. And we also inspire each other in that same way, where it's okay to be different, it's okay to be outside the box, you know. And I think like our event, the Book of Styles, and the reason that we brought you here is because of that like-mindedness, and we wanted you to be a part of the event, not only how you participated in it before, but also just the fact that like you're on that wavelength already of like being open-minded, like trying many different styles within the popping thing, like not just keeping it to one specific way of doing it, or like a narrow-minded view. So I think that's like, you know, the main reason why like we brought you out to be a part of the event. Like, so what did you think? Did you think like the Book of Styles concept worked? Did you see like in the movement of the people? Did you see like, I guess, what did you see? What did you notice like going on in the battles?
I really liked the concept for a lot of reasons. I think it really challenged the dancers. It encourages versatility and the creative aspect. But it also you'll get these what do you call them, categories that pop up that are obviously a weakness for this person, and I have my own too. You know? So I understand that, I connect with that, and I can see that. But I like that because a lot of times in these battles, you just see someone at their best. They stick to what they know, they do what they do,
Right.
and it's just refreshing to see them being challenged, but still going for it.
Yeah.
And still, not holding back or trying something new.
Yeah.
That's something that needs to be there as well as doing what you're good at.
Yeah.
And your blow-ups, the perfection that you've already had, your mastery, but
Right.
also why not go to some stuff you haven't done before, and I think a lot of the dancers benefit from that themselves,
Yeah.
There's been a bunch of comments afterwards and saying that like they were glad they were challenged. It really, even myself, I know that I'm not good at specific things, but I'll go to my battles and do my things, and that's that. They actually were kind of forced, more or less, to do something. It's like, okay, I should work on that.
Yeah.
It really does give them some encouragement to progress.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I know like the Book of Styles is like a huge challenge. Like when people see that wheel and they see that there's like 12 options on there of styles, and you have to like, no matter what it lands on, you have to, like you said, be fearless and just go for it. And then on top of that, you still have to be aware of what you're doing and try to implement these things into the way you move already. So like, there's been tons of people that have like turned down the wheel, they don't even want to try it. Like, I'm not gonna say any names, but like a lot of big names haven't gone after this wheel, because it definitely has a way of showing people's weaknesses, and we all have them, but that's something that should be okay, is like saying that we all have our weaknesses and we have our strengths too, but yeah, like I noticed that too, like people were really happy that they were challenged because they felt like there was some growth in that, like they got something out of it, which is dope, which is a part of like our mission in urban artistry. And like I know you guys as well, like doing a lot of work with like teaching younger members and like spreading the Bay knowledge and the knowledge from San Jose, where you come from. Maybe you can tell them a little bit of like what you do with like the preservation side of like the Oakland and the interviews, and what the whole purpose behind that thing is that you do.
Yeah, that's something that I think we also connect on.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I feel like the preservation of the culture is very important myself. I've learned a lot by just talking to a lot of the OGs and really seeking out the truth, the knowledge, and you might find some controversy here and there, but really the more I looked and the more people I talked to, the more I actually found was lining up, and it really like cleared a lot of things up for me. It really made me realize what this dance is all about, and not only with the whole culture that's behind it, but the movements. Most people will look at the movements today, and I see so many overlaps. And that's what's really like making me go, okay, I think I want to open other people's minds up to that too, because rather than segregating, this is this style and specifically like this, and this is this way, there's actually a lot of connection there.
Yes.
And it really, to me, it's all like one family.
Yeah.
Different areas did different things. They were kids. They were creating, they wanted to be creative with this dance. There was no rules at the time. So talking about preservation, going back to that, moving forward, it's always a tough balance of preserving and still being creative.
Yeah, definitely.
Because at that time, they're just creative.
Right.
They're not really trying to preserve so much.
Right.
But now that we know that there was something there, and we want to kind of keep that going, that tradition going, you kind of got to do a little bit of both.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think you guys do a really good job. And that's one reason why I'm always, anything you need from me, I'm here for you guys, because
sure.
I really love that part about urban artistry and Assassins and what you guys are doing.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, like we put a lot of emphasis on like dance preservation and just being an ambassador of the style that you do. So like if you're into a certain style, like you should know all elements of that thing, you know, the history, like the way people grew up and the way they lived and their stories and like why they moved the way they did. And be someone that can represent that style, speak about it, teach it, be an active member in the community. And like, you know, like I said, I think that like-mindedness between like what you do personally and in your group and what like I do personally and what, you know, my group is doing as well, like connected us in a lot of different ways, like preservation, the creative thing, the being open to many things and not being so tunnel visioned with what popping is, you know. And yeah, like these styles, there's so many, you know, but they're all married together, you know. Like even when we spin the wheel, it's for the Book of Styles, it's still about just incorporating that thing into your popping. You know, it's not about, okay, waving, just don't not wave, you just gotta wave the whole time, you know, because that's such a literal way to think of the dance, like, or just pop the whole time, you gotta do this the whole time. That's so like, it's so literal, you know, and like, they weren't thinking about it like that, you know, back in the day. They were just kids with imagination doing what they wanted to do, you know. So, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad like you know, you enjoyed the event and yeah. So, what else? Is there anything else you want to say or any memorable moments from the weekend?
I really, you know, there's a lot of things I liked. I liked what you guys did with the Book of Styles as far as challenging people with specific movements and concepts and things. And I also like what you guys did with the Abyss House dance competition, because it was cipher based, and I feel like that's also a very important part of the culture. And those guys were like encouraging each other and inspiring each other as the competition was going on. You know, you see someone get down and they're killing it, you're like, oh, I'm gonna come out and do that too. Or like they do some movement and you're like, okay, I like that.
Right.
I'm gonna get down. And the energy was just so high, like so hype, you know. And it was good energy. It wasn't like, you know, it's kind of like a little competitive at times, sure, it's a competition, but like in general, everybody was just like feeling it, feeling the music, feeling the good vibes. And even in the Book of Style stuff, I feel like just the vibes were kind of like that still too. And I really like that about the events out here. You guys are very much about encouragement, all styles, all different people's individuality, coming together, challenging each other. You know, you can be at different skill levels, it's okay. Just be humble, be open, you know. All the philosophy behind what you guys do here is just really dope. And I want to, and I definitely tell everybody that when I go travel around, or just people in my area, that's the thing I think that really connects us, not only in the dance, but like as human beings.
On the human level, exactly. For sure, man. Damn, I appreciate you saying that. It's dope. So, what's next for you, or like what's going on in the near future? Like, do you have any plans for like maybe even like long term, like 10 years from now? Where do you see like yourself going?
I mean, always trying to improve my dance, or trying to understand my dance and improve it at the same time. Whatever I want to do, I always want to like strive for that, set some goals and everything. Also, the culture and the history thing is very important to me right now. One big reason is because I feel very connected to it. I have access to a lot of these guys, and I feel kind of like a little bit more pride, because it's kind of my hometown, you know. And I feel like there's a lot of people that just can benefit from what I learned.
And they are. I think like people are really watching those videos and the research you're doing and the interviews, and I think it's definitely already making impacts. But I can imagine like 5 years from now, like what those impacts will be. It's going to be huge. So I definitely commend you for doing that research. Like every time you put a video out, I'm like first one to click it and watch it, because it's always gold, you know, like the thing you did with Chuck recently, talking about the moves, you know, it was just gold. It was pure gold. Like to see that these guys were doing, they had like some names for things, some things they didn't have names for, but the movement spoke for itself, you know. It's just so rooted in Oakland. Like it's just so clear, you know, because of your research and like the research of others, and you know, the guys coming out more in the Bay and things like that. It's dope, and those guys have an important story to tell, you know, like everybody's story is equally as important, I think, you know, and their story needs to be heard, you know. Just because they're not famous or popular doesn't mean that their story doesn't hold some weight or can influence people in a certain way.
Right. There's a lot of life lessons to be learned from these stories. Not only, you know, you can look at it just very basic, here's some moves that they did. I think that's what most people connect to,
Right.
so I did want to show that.
Yeah.
But when you go a little further, which some people will do, some people won't want to do, you'll find a lot of different things, philosophy they have on life. You kind of understand why they did the things they did, not only the movements, but like let's say battling or like calling out, or like you realize how the music had an effect on things, how they dressed at the time, what their situation was as far as their economic situation, you know, the poor kids, and like that's just the way it was back then. But it created, out of all that, created this beautiful dance that we all share today.
Yeah.
So it's just like this respect that I want to pay to those guys and say, like, you know, you guys didn't know it at the time, but you were creating something that has, like, you know, been so important in so many people's lives today.
Seriously.
They don't even know.
So many, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere, like across the world. It's so international now. Like,
Right.
doesn't matter what race, what country, nothing. Like
Exactly.
everybody loves that dance. Like hands down. Like we were teaching kids today, and like all you had to do was a robot, and they were just loving it.
Yeah,
you know, or something like a puppety character, like through some waves, and they were just like hypnotized. You know, it's just like it's a magical dance. You know, that's the thing that got me into it, was the magic. You know, it's just like, wow, this thing's so cool. Like, I just want to do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it totally changed my life because these guys, you know, were creating this thing to that music at that time. Just ripple effect.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, man, it's crazy stuff.
There's a lot to it.
A lot more to do too. So I'm looking forward to the future. Keep working together and doing more and continuing on this path.
Yeah.
Any last things you want to say before we close out?
Just want to thank you guys for the opportunity. You know, you always got love from me and the Playboys and the Bay Area. And I want to encourage everybody out there to really, you know, listen to these guys and hear what they have to say, and see if what they're doing works for you, because they really have done a lot of things out here that I think have benefited people in a positive way. The community out here is really awesome. I just encourage people to come out and just see it in person. It's dope. So, you know, if they got events going on, check it out. Urban Artistry and Assassins, doing big things.
Cool, man. Playboys and Assassins unite.